Okay, this is a video to sort of demonstrate how nice these tanks can look even after many years of having been set up. This tank was established about 4 years ago, and I have another video on the site that talks just about the tree in here, about how we developed it from just a scraggly bush into this really nice specimen using bonsai type techniques. So it looks like a type of forest giant you would see. And we use this tree to fill up the volume of this tall tank. And you can see it's covered with epiphytes, lots of different types of species orchids and neorigilias, nice little neorigilias that hold lots of water for the dart frogs, but stay relatively small so they look in scale. And we just recently did a refurbishment on this tank where we took all the soil out and put fresh soil in. Usually after 5 years or so we did that, but we just did this one a little early. And most of the plants in here, like including the tree and a lot of these other plants, were still originals, but we also use that opportunity to take out plants that become overgrown and replace them with new plants to get a fresh start. Some of the African violets, even though they're miniature African violets, they've gotten quite large. So we replaced those. You can see we have some new little African violets here, which are coming into bloom now. We have lights not only on the top but down the side, so that you get really good lighting for all of the plants throughout the whole tank. They all get the number of foot candles that they need. And of course, this is all full spectrum lighting, so that everybody gets what they need, including UV for health and infrared for appropriate sight and behavior. And so you can see we have our beautiful artesian spring that starts up here, and then it flows down the stream, you know, with the nubius. You can see the nubius in there, and other different types of aquatic mosses and algae. Flows down into the water feature here. And since we just reset this up, this water is getting conditioned so that we can put in fish and hopefully little freshwater shrimp. And you can see we've got like the little miniature scirpus here, and there's moss all over. That's a tiny little, that's a type of Nephrolepis. It only gets maximum about 3 inches tall. There's an Adelphobates galactinotus orange back. Over there you can see on the wall there's a Tinctorius, a Dendrobates tinctorius. I'm not sure which morph that is. I do have trouble keeping track of all the different morphs. I'm sure the dendroboard people would have a field day telling me how incompetent I am for not being able to tell the difference immediately. But I can't. So, and then that's a little miniature form of philodendron. Actually, only gets that big as well. See, very small. We got there's another orchid there. We've got all types of epiphytic ferns on the tree, and these ferns will grow up the branches and form little traceries of leaves all the way up. Even though we just recently did this tank, this Jabota cava tree is so happy that it's already putting out lots of foliage and is in need of pruning again already. That's a regular job that has to be done weekly if you really want to maintain it in good form, because this is a perfect environment for this tropical tree, so it really likes to grow. And it's a constant battle to keep it in scale. See what else I can find in here. There are, of course, I think when I did the video of the tree, I showed you one of the little Brachysia chameleons. Oh, right there in that leaf axil, that's a cinnamon tree frog. They're very pretty. They come out at night, and those little white spots on them glow in the moonlights that we have on this tank. And they are very nice. But besides our diurnal animals, we also have nocturnal animals in here. So there's two different sets. Oh, there's a little thumbnail. That's a little thumbnail dart. That is, I think, imitator. That's a nice little one there, real pretty. Usually they're not down there. They're usually up here. We'll see them sitting in the bromeliad leaf axils. They like to stay up high usually. They like it upstairs. See what else I can find. I'm not seeing any of the chameleons. There goes that Tinctorius up there. There's lots of frogs in here, but some of them are a little shy. So when I'm in here working, they usually stay hidden. Now also in here we have some Philsuma laticata, the gold dust day gecko. Of course, everything in here is captive bred, and it comes from sources that we trust, so we know that it's disease-free. But anytime we have something coming from a source where we don't know that it's already been tested and bred in sterile conditions, so it's disease-free, we have a holding facility where we test the fecals and take swabs to test for anything that might be problematic in this tank. So, and of course we have all of our mosses actually come from Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, places like that. So they're true tropical mosses. They don't need a cold period or a dry period. They look like this all the time. And of course lots of these things, some of these are fairly new things that we've put in. Lots of these little different types of spreading, Java moss type things, but different genera and species. And they'll spread all over the waterfall. You can see there's moss already spreading there pretty much down the rock. It comes through. Oh, there's one of the chameleons. They're right there. That's a Vivaria right there. I believe that might be the female. I can't see underneath her tail, but I think it might be. Look how beautiful they are. They do much better in these tanks actually than the Reptilians from Africa, because those little leaf chameleons, they're a little delicate actually compared to the Vivarias. They like cooler temperatures. They like a lot of room. Like this is a big tank, but they like even more room than this a lot of times. And they don't particularly like to have others of their kind around. They get very nervous and they'll be aggressive. But these little Vivarias, okay, there's the other Tinctorius up there. So that's one Tinctorius and that's the other Tinctorius. I think one of these is a Patricia. And one of these is I know it's not a cobalt. I don't know which one it is. But anyway, there's two different morphs of Tinctorius in here. There's several of the little galactinos. There's also Azurius, but I'm not seeing the Dendrobates Tinctorius Azurius out here because they're a little shy, especially when they're juveniles, which these are. But anyway, these Vivarias are actually pretty friendly little guys with each other. They don't mind each other. And just look how beautiful she looks. And this is a perfect environment for her. She is fat and she is happy. Look at the alertness in her eyes. I mean, you can see she's moving back a little bit, moving back and forth a little bit because she does not like this camera in her face. But they are just the most gorgeous little things. They got the horns, just like the bigger chameleons. And they're hard to get, so we're actually setting up some breeding tanks for them so that hopefully we can keep them in stock for our clients. So anyway, this is the tank. You can just see, I mean, it's such a beautiful environment. This is right in the main hall of this house. So when guests come over and come in the front door, this is the first thing that greets them. And there's always beautiful singing usually during the day from the frogs. A lot of these thumbnails are juveniles, but as soon as they get a little bit bigger, they'll be having beautiful little calls. And also, the cinnamon tree frogs have a nice call at night. We haven't been able yet to find any captive bred red eyes from a source that I trust yet. So as soon as we find those, they'll be going in here. And so I think that's all I have to say about this tank right now. It's just a beautiful, beautiful environment. It's such a nice thing to have in your home, and such a change from the typical ubiquitous saltwater tank. And in fact, we are going to San Diego this next week to do a conversion for some people who have a great big saltwater tank in their great room that they are converting to a terrarium. We're going to be doing that for them. That'll be down in San Diego. This is Palm Springs here. Okay, I'm going to stop talking.